Hello, I am Wacky Waving Inflatable Flating Arm Tube Man, and I've got some amazing StarCraft content for you today, specially just for you here at RJB's channel. Whoa, that was an amazing intro, wasn't it? Very cringy indeed. Alright, so we've got GoldSCV on the Teal Terran, and he's up against xP-Hero. I have no idea who it is. This is a Smurf. It could be Kokanee. I'm not sure. It could be anyone. But he's beaten some really good players. So we were in for a really good match. It's xP-Hero on the yellow Protoss on the middle left corner. Wait, there's no corner in the middle. So he's on the middle left. And he's against the bottom left corner where GoldSCV is situated. GoldSCV is also known as Lee Bak-gu, a Korean StarCraft player who is a really good StarCraft player. He's great at low map. He's great at fastest map. He's got some games against Flash. He's got games against Brain. He is pretty much kind of like the 458 guy, although he's not as good as 458, but he is associated with 458 in most of the videos that he does feature in on YouTube, on Flash's channel and other people their channels, Jaedong, I don't know, a lot of people, I don't know their names, but he's on YouTube everywhere, and he's been playing with us in the West in SCW for about 5 seasons now. There was a little bit of controversy around the guy because in a single season, I think it was maybe 2 seasons, but it was proven that in season 9 he cheated together with JH to give JH free wins for more ladder points, and they did confess to that eventually, and they had a suspension. So this guy does have a little bit of a bad reputation, short temper, doesn't want to wait, and he will basically burn the bridges if he doesn't like how the bridge is built, instead of just dealing with the bridge. But anyway, he started off with a 3 barrack build up against a 4 gateway build, which is something we saw in a not so recent video of 458 against JH on the name Hare, where JH went for a 4 gateway build at the start, but it didn't work out at all against 458, who was playing the Terran. But maybe we will be seeing something completely different, a situation where it will work out for xP-Hero. And I'm not saying that because I think GoldSCV is a worse Terran player than 458. I actually think that GoldSCV is a better Terran player than 458. Although the sample size of 458's Terran games is way too small to make such an assertion, GoldSCV plays Terran way more often, and that's all that I'm basing it on. So let's just see what's going to happen. It looks like xP-Hero didn't scout GoldSCV on his first attempt, but he does eventually find him. But GoldSCV already has 7 Marines out at his front and a depot, so he's making a wall, and the wall is almost finished. He just needs to throw down 1 more. He's going to kill the SCV, and the SCV does go down, so now he has, wait, it's a bunker. So now there's 5 Zealots there, and the Zealots are going to take down the bunker and then attack the Marines. The Marines are having to been forced to pull back, and there was an SCV that he sent out to make and finish the bunker at the choke, but xP-Hero has thrown a wrench into those plans. He did lose a single Zealot and almost lost a second Zealot. There's only 16 or 13 HP left on that Zealot, and he's now going to take down the bunker, but GoldSCV wants none of that. He's going to send his Marines out and try to prevent xP-Hero from taking the bunker. So now we can just see xP-Hero preventing GoldSCV from getting a choke down, but there are way too many Marines for GoldSCV, although GoldSCV is not microing his Marines at all. So he's losing way more Marines than he could have lost. You know what I mean. He should have lost way less Marines there. He lost way more than I would have liked to see him lose. There's a probe for xP-Hero. He's going to throw down a choke to keep GoldSCV boxed inside his base. There's an SCV scouting. He's going to make a barrack and going to try to float it over the wall. Over the space. So there's no hills, there's no wall. He's going to fly it over the space, drop it down here, and try to get a firebat cheesy run in on the minerals of xP-Hero. But I assume xP-Hero will respond to that rather quickly because he already has a forge out, and you might be expecting a barrack to be dropped over here for the firebat run-in. And there is a depot this time, so there is a little wall that's been constructed. xP-Hero is still throwing out more Zealots to help him fortify and get that block off. And GoldSCV throws down an SCC and is mining gas with 2 SCVs. Maybe there's 3. That's 2 SCVs. And now he's attacking at the front. He's going to try to prevent xP-Hero from getting his block off. And xP-Hero cancels the block, pulls back his Zealots and his probe, And GoldSCV is now killing the pylon and the middle. And there is the barracks flying over, but there are already cannons being produced inside of xP-Hero's base. So the fire bat run by onto the probes will definitely not work. There is another pylon being thrown down. And the Zealots have now spotted, and they're killing the barracks. Units in the front trying to walk into xP-Hero's base. But xP-Hero has a lot of Zealots now. There's about 16 Zealots inside his base. These fire bats do get a little bit of a surprise catch on some Zealots, and the Zealots are now going to try to flank, but the other Zealots are not weren't moved out in time, so the flank is going to fail, although his units are now caught in between both groups, but he will just chase this group down and kill this group before the other group arrives, and he pulls back towards his base. He's going to go for the turtle route, and just build his base up, knowing that he cannot really get much done here. He's going to prevent these cannons from going down. xP-Hero tried to get his cannons down to like make a wall here and then extend it into a wall into the block. And there's an engineering bay being constructed there. Not sure what he's going to try to do with an engineering bay. He's going to hover it and fly it over xP-Hero's base. We're just going to keep it there for upgrades. Not entirely sure. We just have to wait and see. And he's trying again to make a block to keep GoldSCV contained inside his base. He's not making a choke. Although I do really like this option, but it is risky because GoldSCV can just walk out and prevent it time and time again because xP-Hero does not have enough units to really get it down. In the meantime, he has started 3 gas mining with 9 probes, and there are 2 more cannons being thrown down at his main just to protect his minerals from tank drops because GoldSCV really likes tank drops, and it looks like xP-Hero has the right train of thought because there is a starport and we will be seeing a control tower very soon, and it will most definitely make a dropship for the tank drop because GoldSCV loves to go tank drops in every single situation. And I have to admit, there is a little bit of room here inside of xP-Hero's base where he can drop the tank and get a shot off on the probes. But you're just going to have to wait and see. There's a robotics facility, so we can be seeing drops from xP-Hero. He's also making Zealot lags, and there are now cannons filling in the little hole that I just pointed out. There's also a Templar's archive. So it definitely is going to be Templar drops. And GoldSCV is not making a dropship for a change, either because he's already scanned that there are a lot of cannons all around of xP-Hero's base, aside from this little part here, but I assume the Zealots would most definitely be able to kill those tanks in time with assistance of these 2 cannons. So he's not even going to try. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm completely wrong. He's going to try it anyway. He's going to try to look for a little opening to siege those tanks and get a shot off on the probes and slow xP-Hero down even more than he was already slowed down by going for the 4 gateway start. And there's 2 armories, so we're going to be seeing really, really early upgrades for the Mac for GoldSCV. GoldSCV staying on a single factory and a single starport as of yet, so he isn't planning on moving out anytime soon. He's just going to try to go for the tank drops from the safety of his base behind this wall that xP-Hero will have to penetrate if he even wants to deal some damage. So instead of trying to go for the frontal attack, he's going for the drops, and there is no shuttle being produced. There is a storm upgrade has started, and a couple of Templars are being produced. He's got a lot of gateways out now, and there is a drop flying in from the right side of xP-Hero's base, but a lot of Zealots are moving out, and I don't think either of these tanks will get a shot off on the probes. No, both tanks go down before a single shot gets fired at the probes. And xP-Hero's income is completely safe. A hit there would have really slowed him down and probably lost him the game instantly because he's on a single extra nexus for probe production. And he's most of his probes on this side because he reloaded it to this little portion there. So all the probes are on this side instead of that side. Well, there's a couple there, of course, from the start of the game. Now he's sending all of his units into the middle to this little super tiny makeshift block that he tried to make but never finished. There's the Valkyrie as anti-drop. GoldSCV is really expecting xP-Hero to go for drops and not to go for a frontal attack, but I do think that he's just scanned all the units moving out of xP-Hero's base. So he's loading up his bunkers and threw down a couple more bunkers, and xP-Hero is going to have to attack and focus down the depots in the front before he can even have access to the bunkers. And there's a couple fire bats Yeah, this one is completely filled up with fire bats. The zealots do not like fire bats at all. Fire bats love zealots because the zealots have to get up close onto the bunker itself, and then they get mowed down by the fire bats really quickly. As we can see right here, all the zealots have gone down, and all they have done is kill a couple of units. There were no storms that had gone off there. That's really surprising. He was either target firing the Templars, or the Templars were just tripping balls in the back as they were being blocked access to the backline by the zealots tripping out here in the front. So all he did was take down 2 depots and a bunker in exchange for his entire mass of about 35 zealots and 4 Templars. So he managed to achieve absolutely nothing. That is a pure win-win situation for GoldSCV. GoldSCV being able to hold his front without losing any units at all. And his minerals have not yet been challenged by drops. And it doesn't look like xP-Hero is going to make any drops because he is still going to commit to zealots and dragoons for the frontal attacks. And that's either because he already saw that there are some Valkyries out, so maybe he's completely given up on going for the Valkyries, and he has a lot of upgrades on the way though, and there are stargates being constructed here on the side for either Corsairs or Carriers. He's gonna have to quickly see if he has a fleet beacon. There's no fleet beacon yet. I assume he's going to make an expo here for his carriers, or he's going to make his carriers up here, or on both locations. That's also possible. And he's starting to build on the middle to reduce the distance towards GoldSCV's base, making it easier for him to send out units and mass up really quickly. And he's now throwing down the block that he intended to throw out at the start of the game, but is only able to throw out right now. So we can expect him to throw down 20 to 30 cannons here on the middle just to slow down GoldSCV's advancement out of his base to counterattack. Keep him boxed in really nicely. And he's very slowly and peacefully adding on his factories without any pressure on him at all. All the pressure is on xP-Hero in this game because xP-Hero is giving GoldSCV all the time in the world and giving a player of GoldSCV's level all this time completely unpunished. That will backfire because it is going to be very hard to break into this front or break through the sides because he's going to throw down a triple row of... Well, he's got enough space for a triple row of turrets, but he might be going for the double row. He's going to lift that one up, so we might be seeing a double row of turrets on the side there. The top side will be just a single row of turrets, but it will be supported by Valkyries. And there is the EMP that's going to help against Templars and Carriers. And he's not making Carriers, he is going for gateways from all the sides. So this is basically, he is going to put his axe in the basket of GoldSCV moving out into the middle. And he's going to have so many gateways out that he will be able to replenish his entire mass within half a minute and send it out again. But it more or less relies on getting a surround on GoldSCV's units on the middle by sending units from 2 separate directions. And GoldSCV throwing out a lot of scans. Let's see what he has scanned. He's scanned the entire base of xP-Hero, scanned the entire middle. He has not scouted any of these side spots where xP-Hero is building his proxy gateways. More gateways there. There is still no carrier tech. There's Arbiter tech. He's making 3 Arbiters. So he might either be going for the recalls, he is going for the stasis. There is no recall upgrade yet. The recall upgrade might be researched after he finishes the stasis upgrade. GoldSCV in the meantime is completely filling up his entire base with turrets and armories and factories. Though the factory count is still somewhat low in comparison to the amount of gateways that xP-Hero has. But GoldSCV is very good at preserving his units, saving his units with micro, and immediately pumping out more units without loss of a single second. So there is no wasted APM within GoldSCV's APM. And on the side, a nice amount of starports for either Valkyries or Wraiths. Both are really good against carriers, but there's no carriers today. It's just going to be a full-on ground attack from xP-Hero. xP-Hero now grouping up his units in the middle. He's expecting GoldSCV to push out very soon. GoldSCV, in the meantime, is just making a lot of CCs to free up room inside of his base, I assume. and to float them out for map coverage on the sides. As we can see here, he's got some CCs flowing on the sides. A lot of scans. There's nothing happening at the moment. He's killing off his own SCVs and breaking his own choke so he can start to move out and put the pressure that xP-Hero was supposed to put on GoldSCV. Now we can put the same pressure on xP-Hero because now it's a race against the clock for xP-Hero. Is GoldSCV too big to handle, or will xP-Hero be able to mass out units so quickly that he can overrun GoldSCV with the surround from the proxy gateway mass that he constructed here on the middle right? And he's just waiting it out. He's just waiting and waiting for energy on his arbiters. And I don't think I saw the recall being researched. There is arbiter energy being researched. There's also cloaking for the raids now, so he really is expecting the carriers. He's not expecting just a huge mass of gateways at all. He's finally decided to move out. Now he's going to push down the front here. He's not sieging his tanks. He's going to lose his tanks to the storms instead. And he finally decides to pull back the remaining 4 tanks that he has left after losing about 5 tanks to the storms and the cannons. And he's going to push out. And these zealots are going to not throw a wrench into that plan of his. He's going to... of course, he's going to use those CCs to hover over his main CC to protect against focus fire from carriers. And that's a lot of turrets he built into his bases. Let me hide the interfaces. A lot of turrets. Every single little gap and little space that he has left in his base is going to be turned into a turret. And still nothing happening at all. He is scanning the map with this Valkyrie and he finds the mass expansion of proxy gateways on the middle right. And more scans being thrown out. Seeing whatever xP-Hero is up to. And xP-Hero is just sitting, waiting, and doing nothing. Either because he is too scared to go in and make the first move. So he's going to try to go for a counter move on GoldSCV. GoldSCV now using this vessel to scout, see what is going on with xP-Hero, because GoldSCV is not liking the silence before the storm. Silence before the storm is always a dreadful experience because you know something is going to happen, but you never quite know to what severity it is going to happen. And man, these are a lot of Valkyries that he made in anticipation of the carriers. But to everyone's surprise, there are no carriers at all on the map. Now he's finally pushing out again. He's really waiting for the carriers. That's why he's being so patient and hesitant in pushing out and sending his units out, because he knows that the moment he has all of his units out here, he can lose his units and get overrun by the Zealots and the Dragoons. Because these Valkyries are completely useless against anything but recalls. Like, they can kill the Arbiters before they can get a recall off, or kill drops before they can even drop a single unit, or they can kill carriers and interceptors so fast that the carriers cannot even get away anymore. But the upside of these Arbiters is that in the case that xP-Hero did make carriers, he could have gone for the stasis on that mass of Valkyries and kept GoldSCV supply locked on the Valkyries. And he's pulling back his tanks again. xP-Hero just waiting. He's playing at 80, 90 APM in stark contrast to what we saw at the start of the game, where he's playing at way higher APM. But his APM is so damn low because he's waiting for GoldSCV to move out and get a surround off. And also, xP-Hero can go ahead and kill a lot of his probes. Maybe he already did, but his minerals are so insanely high at this point that he should just kill some off and increase the size of his mass. GoldSCV now building a wall inside of the entrance of his choke because he wants... Basically, both players are waiting for the other player to pull the trigger so they can respond and counterattack, but neither player is pulling the trigger. And a couple of tanks get die there. And now he's making a pylon right in front of the tank. It's kind of pointless, but it looks really cute. Not sure what the intention behind it was, though. And now he's throwing down all of these CCs, building scans for the permascan. And there are the Valkyries. So he finally shows his hand in the fact that he has a lot of Valkyries in a supply. And it looks like he's planning on sacrificing. I mean, he tried to kill the Arbiters, but he's going to sacrifice his Valkyries right after they get out of the stasis lock, because he needs more supply freed up for tanks. And actually, I'm starting to think that this game might be corrupted because nothing is happening. The things that I am seeing do seem very... Like, I don't think this would ever happen in a corrupted replay. So I honestly just think that both players are just doing absolutely nothing at all. And there are the Valkyries chasing down the Arbiters, and both Arbiters go down. The Valkyries also going to go down. But why is he doing nothing at all? This is very frustrating. And now the units are moving, so in a corrupted replay, we'd be seeing these units attacking. And they're not attacking. Definitely not. And he's still building more scans here on the side. This has to be the least exciting game I've ever seen in my life, where both players are just playing chicken. And I really hope that I haven't been casting a broken replay, because that would absolutely suck. Now he's killing his own buildings to make more room, which again leads me to believe that this replay is definitely not corrupted or broken, and both players are in their full wits and consciousness and deliberately making the choice not to do shit at all. 44,000 minerals for xP-Hero now. GoldSCV finally decides to push out. Yeah, you're blocking yourself there, my buddy. You gotta unsiege that one, and move those tanks into the middle and start the action. I mean, I do understand the strategic value of inaction, but sometimes inaction is just inaction. Like, some people like to say that inaction is the best course of action, but this is just completely wasted inaction. And there he finally decides to throw out the last remaining 12 Valkyries, because he has scanned the entire map and sees no stargates anywhere at all on the entire map, just gateways. So now he's going to change up his mass specifically to tanks, and probably a couple of Goliaths. Maybe a couple of vessels too for EMPs. There he's throwing down. He's spamming tanks inside every single factory. So we can be seeing a very continuous, long, dragged out ground against ground game of Zealots and Dragoons and a couple of Templars against tanks. The action is going to start very soon. He's now scouting this proxy of gateways, getting himself some nice vision of what xP-Hero has out on the map. Flying over, flying to the top side, seeing what's over there. And xP-Hero has scared GoldSCV away, so all these CCs here have been lifted and are now hovering closer to his own base. xP-Hero is now building cannons on the side to finish the contain that he should have finished long ago, because he was literally doing nothing at all for the last 10 minutes or so. Neither was GoldSCV, but GoldSCV was waiting. They were both waiting. And GoldSCV has finally decided to pull the trigger after he has killed almost all of his Valkyries. He's got a couple of Valkyries left flying around the map, getting himself information on whether xP-Hero is finally making those carriers now that GoldSCV has thrown away and killed all of his Valkyries. So now would actually be a really good time for xP-Hero to switch to carriers. But he doesn't have the technology for carriers. He doesn't have the upgrades for carriers. He doesn't have a fleet beacon. And he's still waiting for GoldSCV to pull all of his tanks out of this little corridor and spread them out onto the middle so he can get a beautiful surround off. And xP-Hero still is on 65,000 minerals. He has way too many minerals. He should really kill off some of his probes, because his mass is way too small. It's way too small to even make a dent into this super huge mass of tanks lined up in a beautiful line. And this little front row of tanks did go down to mostly splash damage and a couple of storms, but as soon as he gets his tanks spread out here on the middle and the tanks start moving out of his base, he will most definitely have complete dominance over the ground game. He finally stormed his own probe, so now he had a lot of probes. That was at least 100 probes he had situated. Well, not 100, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but he had about 80 probes on his minerals because he had 118 supply after he stormed his own probes. And he already had a bunch of zealots in the gateways being produced, so now he can produce a lot. He already spent 14,000 minerals within the bat of an eye, so every single gateway is completely filled up with units, with zealots and templars and whatever you can imagine. Now he's going to move out, and I hope these arbiters don't get EMP'd before they can get their stasis, and that's a completely useless stasis. He only stasis 2 tanks in the back, no stasis in the front, and the zealots are now mowing down the tanks in the front, and the tanks are also hitting themselves with splash damage, but these zealots are very, very, very quickly losing their HP. There's a defensive mid, but defensive mid does absolutely nothing at all, and more zealots are gonna come walking in through the front entrance, but there are so many tanks sieged up. I actually do think that he did make a nice little wall here, which can be completely negated if he unsieges this tank and moves forward. But it does make sending his units out into the middle a little bit more difficult for GoldSCV. And now we can see xP-Hero's APM has shot up back to where it should have been all game long. But the inaction has completely ruined his APM for this game. And he has to move these units out, unsiege that one. And he's gonna get his tanks set up in the middle. And for the first time in this game, GoldSCV has moved beyond this line right there. It took him 26 minutes. And most of those minutes were just complete inaction between the two players. And I honestly hope that my non-stop rambling is sufficient to keep this game interesting. I mean, the portion of the game where nothing was happening, of course, because now it is kind of interesting, because will xP-Hero have enough minerals to shit out units continuously and overrun GoldSCV? Because he is on purely, I mean, he has 2 probes mining now, so his entire psi count is purely zealots, and now he's going for the surround on the middle, but there's so many tanks on the middle, and he sent out these 2 groups way too late, so most of the zealots that are being sent out are dying way before the other group of zealots even makes it to the group of tanks in the middle, and all the tanks have shot down all the zealots without even losing that many tanks at all. He's lost about 20 of his supply, whereas xP-Hero has lost his 150 supplies sending all of those zealots out, although he forgot to send these zealots out, so closer to 120. And he's very rapidly losing minerals because he can make close to 80 zealots at a time. So that's 8,000 minerals that he's losing every single wave that he's sending them out. But this, I do think this wave is going to have a lot more success than the previous wave, because now he gets all of his zealots sent at the same time. That's a beautiful EMP, taking down all the shields of at least 20 zealots that were situated there. So they're going to get mowed down by the tanks, but most of the tanks do get cleared out. We had a lot of tanks just standing here in this entire portion, and they've all been cleaned out. Another wave of zealots is coming out and cleaning out tanks that GoldSCV has placed on the middle. And he's no longer throwing out EMPs because he doesn't have the energy for EMPs, no defensive matrices either. And GoldSCV responds really nicely by adding raids into the mix. Zealots can't do anything against raids, so that's a nice little pickup, because now the tanks will be able to fire on the zealots from afar, and once the zealots reach the tanks, the raids will be able to finish them up before his own tanks start killing his own tanks with splash damage. And now he's going to take down the pylons here on the side. There is no probe in this base, so if he kills all of these pylons, this entire proxy that he has here will be rendered completely useless. But in the meantime, he is getting a really nice surround off on GoldSCV's tanks on the middle, and GoldSCV is now forced to pull back to his base, where he does have a really nice little bottleneck made by his factories built against the wall. So it's going to be very hard for xP-Hero's units to even get in there. As you can see here, most of his units are getting blocked, and now he has, I don't think he really should have cloaked them, But now he is firing away at the Zealots in the front, and the Zealots are doing very little damage. If he had a couple of storms there, he would really have been able to do some magic work on storming this little bottleneck open, as most of these Zealots are just tripping out, unable to attack the tanks that are hiding behind the factories in this bottleneck. So it's kind of like the movie 300, where all these Zealots are the Persians, the tanks are the Spartans, and they're using advantage of terrain to just really quickly mow down xP-Hero's units. And xP-Hero still is not making probes. I think he's gonna run out of minerals. I really think he's gonna run out of minerals, because he definitely does not have enough minerals to win this by just sending out zealots over and over again. Now there are mines. Zealots absolutely hate mines. It's a hate-hate relationship. Mines absolutely love Zealots, because Zealots will die very quickly. So now xP-Hero can no longer really send out Zealots from this base, because they will just run into the mines and die very rapidly. There come the units from both sides of the defensive matrix, hoping to make it a little bit harder for xP-Hero, but xP-Hero has a lot of units coming in from the sides, and the mines were placed way too high and barely kill any Zealots at all. But all of these Zealots are failing to get a good surround off on the tanks in the middle, and most of them will die before they can even kill a significant amount of tanks. And GoldSCV has only lost 35, alright, has only lost 40 of a supply count, and a bunch did get stasis up. But xP-Hero is very quickly running out of money, as the next wave of Zealots is finishing production and being sent out to the sides, preparing for the flank on GoldSCV's units. But GoldSCV is already back on 200, and xP-Hero now on 4,000 minerals. He's gonna run out on the next wave, because he can only make 42 Zealots on the next wave, maybe 43 after those probes finish up mining a little bit more minerals. And now he's sending out the next wave. This time the mines do a little bit of damage, and the stasis is actually making it harder for xP-Hero. xP-Hero should have waited for the stasis to end, because now the stasis is actually walling off his own Zealots from being able to attack the tanks that GoldSCV has on the middle in the entrance of his choke. And he forgot to send these units, although I do doubt that they would have really made a difference. And as we can see, xP-Hero has completely... He's pretty much broke now. He has no probes. He leaves the game because he knows the game is completely lost. He made a really dumb choice in storming all of his units. And I'll admit, this was a really stupid game. Stupid game. Kind of flabbergasted that the first time I decide to cast a bit of a longer game, it turns into this. But yeah, I hope you somewhat enjoyed watching that. I mean, I enjoyed casting it to a certain degree. It's mostly frustration, but I'm gonna upload this anyway, because this is something that can happen in a fastest map game. It's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty, and it just makes you scratch your head and what the hell am I watching? Because that is, I've never seen so much lack of action ever before in a single fastest map game ever. I'm dumbfounded. Thanks for watching.